What is shaking? Hope everybody had a great weekend. I'm not sure if I'm sure I had a great weekend. That's kind of a weird transition. I had a fantastic weekend. Didn't do a whole lot this weekend. A little cleaning. Went to the dump today, which I'll get to in a minute. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the show with the beanie on. I got the beanie on. I could do the show with the beanie on, which, pretty normal standard procedure for me. SOP. Or I found this. I haven't worn this in forever. I saw this at the bottom of one of my drawers. The bottom of one of my drawers, scary thing. It's like the depths of the ocean. Speaking of depths of the ocean, you guys been following that Titan submersible crap? And I watched the documentary of it last week. Man, that dude's a whack job. That dude. Apparently, my daughter was telling me now, like, he wanted to die. And so, anyway, I could put this one on. And I haven't worn this in a long time. Now, it's camouflage, so I hope it don't disappear. Now, this is what I like to call my 1980s WWE feel. Now, the only problem with wearing this is every once in a while, I might just break out into what's going on, brother? Did you get a chance to see the Oklahoma City Thunder? Ooh, yeah, the Thunder. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, the big fella Holmgren, hitting the shots, blocking the shots, saying, no, not 2 in a row, not in our house. Now, I don't know if I want to, break into that every 5-10 seconds, but it's a possibility. I'm going to tell you. And I kind of morph back and forth between like a Hogan and a Randy Macho Man Savage. Hogan's more of the kind of loud, make sure you take your vitamins. Make sure you take your vitamins, brother. All the little Hulkamaniacs out there. And then you got to do the pose occasionally, which I have nothing for the pose. And Macho Man's more of a kind of a silent, and then just kind of explodes into a, oh yeah, that's kind of a Macho Man. I wish I had the Ralph one to play that we played. That was probably 15 years ago. We had Macho Man in studio. He was a super cool guy too. Talked about his minor league baseball career with the Cardinals, but he's the type of guy that, again, it's not quite. I mean, they're all bombastic, right? When they got the sticks and they're cut the promos and stuff like that. But the cream's rising to the top, Mean Gene. I'm gonna pull this cream out of my hand, and I'm gonna be like a magician. I'm gonna pull another cream out of my hand, and at the very end of the Royal Rumble, you know who's gonna be on top, Mean Gene? Ooh, yeah, the Macho Man. Me and Elizabeth. And then Elizabeth left him. She betrayed him. That was really a bummer. Like, come on, Elizabeth. What are you doing? I think she went over with Jimmy Hart, the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. And he was head of the Hart Foundation, right? And you got Jim the Anvil Neidhart is part of the Hart Foundation, and God, why can't I think of his name? I can't think of it. That somebody's gonna have to help me out real quick. What was his name? I know his name. He got the Montreal screw job. He was the one that got screwed in the Montreal screw job. What would my finishing move be? I don't know what my finishing move would be. The IPA, brother. I don't know what that stands for. I'd have to figure out something with the I and the P and the A. Oh, yeah. How come I can't think of God dang it. Bret Hart. Thank you, Rockin'. I appreciate that. Bret Hart. And then his brother Owen Hart, I believe, was one that passed away when he was Dan Owen. Owen was one that fell from, I don't know, 50 feet up. They did the whole, hey, we're gonna bungee him down into the ring. Won't this be great? Nah, it didn't work out that great. And then if you remember correctly, they just went on with the match. Let's continue on. Let's just act like nothing happened, and people think it's part of the act. And Vince McMahon, well, the people paid their money, they're already here. What a poor decision that was, right? Poor decision. Let's get somebody up in the rafters, lower him down into the ring. He falls, things go horribly wrong, he dies, and then just sweep him up, move on. Let's continue on with the match. Yeah, we're here. People paid their money. We don't give them refunds, do we? No, we don't. Might have people watching on TV too. They paid for it too. Never worry about, well, somebody actually died. Like died. D-I-E, died. Now we'll just keep on going. Okay. And I was going to say who signed off on that, but didn't matter who didn't sign off on it. Just as long as Vince McMahon signed off on it, he was the only one. He was the only one that mattered. The only one that mattered. That was a good special, the Vince McMahon special on Netflix. Very, very comprehensive, I thought. But back in the day, the 80s, that's when, I was probably into wrestling the most. Although I was into wrestling in the 90s because I did love Triple H, and Stone Cold was like, that was like the guy. He was the man. The Rock was incredible. You had, God, who else did you have? I mean, I can't even think of them. You had a bunch of dudes back then that were just, the 90s were fun, but the 80s were when I first started watching wrestling. And the best part about the 80s is they still, what do they call it? Kayfabe, where, you got to sell it and never come off of it. Like, never let people know it's entertainment. Inside the ring, outside the ring, you're out for dinner, whatever. This is real. And who was it? Dr. D, David Schultz, when he hit John Stossel in the ear. Does that feel fake? Well, no, you actually hit him. That's not the point. The people that were saying it, like me, was like, it's not fake. It's just scripted. That's a better way of putting it. Because when you say fake, it's insulting, right? Right? You're just like, oh, the bumps aren't real, the hits aren't real, the pain you're in isn't real. Like, that's insulting saying it's fake. But scripted is what it was. All the stuff they did. I mean, they put their bodies through hell, but it was scripted. We all know that now. Look, if you had eyes, you knew it back then if you wanted to. Although, don't tell my grandpa that. My grandpa was like, boy, you better get out in front of the TV. I was like, okay, grandpa. I wasn't about to argue. I'm like 9. I'm going to argue. I'm like 9, it's fake. And it's like, I mean, it was more real. I think the Rocky fight against Clubber Lang was more real. When Rocky was like missing punches like by 2 feet, and Clubber Lang's head's just snapping back. Pop, pop, pop. The CompuBox on that fight must have been amazing. Punches thrown, 480. Punches landed, 479. I think maybe they missed one in the entire fight. Just absurd. But it was Rocky, so he bought it. And we got, hey, woman, you want to come over and see a real man? We got that. So, I mean, come on. You knew the boxing was like the worst part of it. The Clubber Lang was the best part of that movie by far. Do you accept the challenge? No, I reject the challenge because Balboa ain't no challenge, but I'll be happy to beat up on him some more. Boom, it's right there. I mean, that's how do you get better than that? You don't get better than that. But the wrestling, the moves, the bumps, all that stuff, real. I mean, you know how to fall, and you know how to take a bump, all that, but it was real. So I could see where, you're going to get, but they felt like at the time, if they didn't try to go the kayfabe route, then, all the feuds, you didn't have a good guy and a bad guy, a heel and a baby face out to dinner together, right? At Luby's or Applebee's, although there wasn't an Applebee's back then, Denny's, Waffle House, wherever. You couldn't have those dudes sharing a moons over my hammy, right? And then go in there and be spitting on each other and cursing each other and everybody expect to believe it. It's like, bro, you were just sharing a Grand Slam breakfast. Like, I saw you, Hulk and Big John Studd. Let's go. What are you talking? Iron Sheik? You're out with Sergeant Slaughter. What's that all about? What's all this? America, 2, Iran, number 1. What's all that about? Right? You're like, you're sharing. That didn't work. So they took it very seriously. And then they lightened up a little bit. Come the, I guess it was like early 90s. It was like, okay, look, this is absurd. And I think it didn't, I think it had to do more with the government actually, and the steroid issue that they had and labeling themselves. And it's not not that they weren't athletes, but it was more entertainment. It wasn't sports. It was sports entertainment, because that's what we want in our sports, right? We want the greatest reality television going. Sports is the greatest reality television there is. It's not scripted. You just go out there and the best team wins. At least that's what we like to believe. And so you got to have that. And that's what wrestling wanted, right? They wanted to be sports. They wanted to be the unpredictability of sports, but it wasn't. So they just ended up being sports entertainment, which is fine. We all knew that's what it was. So they move into that direction, and that's, The Rock and again, Degeneration X and Triple H and I mean, I'm missing tons of guys. Like I said, Stone Cold was my guy. Loved watching him wrestle. But they had a bunch of really fun, intriguing storylines, matchups, like a soap opera, but as a physical soap opera. And that was cool. People were good with that. Like, I don't know how many people they lost going, what? It's not real? I'm out. I can go watch politics. I'm not watching this garbage. Gotta watch something that's rigged. But there were people that thought like, oh yeah, these guys hate each other because they're old school, followed it in the 80s. And I actually think it's funnier when it is sports entertainment. Like, you don't have to sell it so hard. You can sell it, but again, that's where the writing comes in. That's where the storylines come in and all that stuff. Look, which is why the Tim Donaghy thing was a huge deal. The Pete Rose thing was a huge deal. And if you bet on sports and you're involved in that sport, then you start veering towards wrestling a little bit. You start veering a little bit toward wrestling. And that's not what basketball, baseball, hockey, on and on and on. That's not what legitimate sports are supposed to be. And that was the whole steroid thing. Are you cheating? Are you cheating the game? Or is what we're watching real? Now, that's different than fixing a game or betting on a game, because then I don't want to say it becomes scripted, but it becomes more scripted. Like, you can never script anything. Like Pete Rose managing, he could put players in that he thinks may have a better chance to succeed or not succeed, but he doesn't know how they're going to do. It's just like in the NBA, when you're trying to tank at the end of the year, you can give yourself less of a chance of winning, but you can't guarantee you're going to lose, because the guys that are playing are going to try hard. That's always, I always tried to get that through to people when it came to tanking. Players don't tank. Players play. Players don't know if they're going to be on that team next year. Players want to have a job next year. Players want to stay in the league next year. And the players, for the most part, are competitors, and they want to get their ass out there and ball and play and win. So it doesn't matter as a coach. You can try to line it up as a GM. You can try to line it up and give yourself, instead of a 50% chance of winning or a 40% chance of winning, giving yourself a 30% chance of winning. But you can't guarantee you're going to lose. You can't say we're going to lose. Like, I've never heard of a coach going, okay, here's a play at the end of the game, and then drop a play for the worst shooter on the team, give it to him, and have him shoot it. Like, the rest of the players would look at him like he had 4 eyes. Like, what are you talking about? So you can't have that. And that's why the whole, Pete Rose Hall of Fame thing I find somewhat interesting in that. And again, you guys know this. I hate the argument. Oh, they're murderers, they're rapists, there's probably bigots, there's, racist, there's this. Yeah, but they don't affect the game. I mean, if I'm playing a game in let's say I'm playing in 1952, and I hate black people, and I go out there and play a baseball game. How does me hating a black person decide whether that game's a win or a loss? Like, how does that give me any less of a chance to win a baseball game? Unless I'm so much of a racist that my first baseman is black and I'm the second baseman and I just keep throwing it over his head. I think you'd probably get taken out at some point. Be like, bro, who are you, Steve Sachs? I mean, he's not even born yet, but what are we doing? You can't throw it to first base? Seriously? So, like, you're going to try because you want to go out there and play and you want to continue to play. And again, you want to continue to get paid. So, like, you could be a racist. I mean, you could have domestic violence, as awful as that is. You're still going to go out there and play. But if you're fixing games, if you're betting on games, and you're in a position to help your team lose, that's different. That becomes more like wrestling. That becomes more scripted. Now, unless you're a pitcher, you have a hard time fixing a game of baseball, right? How much could a right fielder fix unless he just continues to drop balls and then it becomes obvious? You're getting 4 bats a game. You might not even get up to bat with anybody on base. So, the umpires are the ones that could fix it as far as totals are concerned, and they could fix a game. The umpires and the refs are the ones that always, and that's why the Tim Donaghy thing was like, ooh, that ain't good. That ain't good. Because players can do it, but usually need more than one. You need more than one, almost a collusion of sorts, like give 3 guys like, hey, okay, we got this. We'll make sure we don't make enough shots, or we'll keep it within 13, or we'll keep it within 12, or whatever. Anyway, speaking of basketball, Jesus, I have no idea what happened there. I was just like, I started, then I blacked out for a second. And I woke up talking about Pete Rose and gambling and scripted sporting events. And I know there was some WWE wrestling in there involved somewhere. But you know what happened? I put this on. And once I put this on, let me tell you something, brother. I sat back this weekend watching the game in Oklahoma City, and I was happy. I was overjoyed, brother. Why? Not because I thought Oklahoma City was going to win and even this series up. Not because I thought this is going to be a great game, but because I got to see my former coach, oh yeah, Don Nelson, get the Lifetime Achievement Award. Did Don Nelson ever win the big one? No, he didn't. Did Don Nelson win a lot of games? Yes, he did. Second most all time, brother. All time. He had some great Bucks teams, ran into some better Celtics teams. He had some really good Warriors teams, just not good enough. Maybe even better Maverick teams. Steve Nash, one of the best point guards. Dirk Nowitzki, whoa, what a player he was. The tall, lanky German. My voice is about to go. Sorry, brother. I told you I can only do that for so long. I was so happy for Nelly. I think Nelly kind of gets overlooked because he never won a championship. And that's the thing, right? If you don't win a championship, you're scum. You're nothing. Win a title or blow me. I just whatever. I don't go away. You gotta win a championship. You gotta win a championship. Or as everybody likes to say, you gotta win a chip. Because championship's so hard to say. I mean, it's just so fucking hard to say that you need to say chip. Or national championship is so hard to say that you got to say natty. Fucking please. And I like when old guys like me say natty. And you win the natty. Like, stop. Just stop. Just say national championship. That's what you used your whole life. Stop trying to be hip. But he never won. As a player, he did. He's in the Hall of Fame. So he won, I don't know how many championships he won as a Celtic. 5, maybe 4. I think he won 1 maybe with Russell. Russell's last year when Russell was a player coach. He hit that shot down in LA that hit off the back iron, went straight up, kind of like the Halliburton shot in New York earlier this year. Straight down, boom. Celtics win that one. I'd have to go look this up, but I think that was the game Jack Kent Cook, the owner of the Celtics, had balloons up in the rafters for Game 7. Can you imagine? Like, you're the owner, you come up with that idea, and there's other people, because you don't want to upset the owner. You want to be on the side of the owner. Can you imagine? You're sitting there, and the owner goes, "Hey, I want to put some balloons up in the rafters," and you're thinking, "Is this guy fucking real? Like, seriously? Does he think the Celtics won't look up at some point? One of them might look up and just say, hey, I guess they're already planning on winning, huh?" And maybe some of that's overblown a little bit, but hey, if you can get a 2% edge with some stupid balloons up on the rafters, and that you just shouldn't do that. You shouldn't put the balloons up on the rafters. Like, someone should have said, that's a terrible idea. Awful idea. Like, we don't even need the balloons. If we beat the Celtics in Game 7, who we've never beaten before, I think everyone's going to be happy enough. I think everyone's going to be good. Like, they're not going to be like, can you imagine? Right? Game 7, you're a huge Laker fan. You get your ass kicked by the Celtics all the time. You've never beaten them in the finals. This is like your one chance, right? Celtics not quite as good. So, I mean, Lakers really good team. You're thinking, okay, this is our year. And you get to a Game 7, and you win Game 7. And by the way, I think that was the year that West won the MVP and didn't even win. That's how good he was. Game 7, we beat the Celtics. That's amazing. Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Go with your buddy, and you're like, this is awesome. Can you imagine walking out and going, fucking, where are the balloons? Didn't you have any balloons? And Lakers, cheap-ass organization. I know. Now they go overboard. Even the Warriors do this. We drop streamers and confetti like a regular season win. Like, what? What are we doing? And this is another, like, so everybody, I've noticed this now. Everybody does the same thing in the NBA. I was at 3 arenas this year. Everybody does the same stuff. It's almost like the dancers do the same dances, the same promos come up. They run the same stuff. The DJs pop on at the same times. And then the one I hate the most is, if you've gone to Chase, you'll know this, that they have everybody has a massive screen now, right? Massive board in the center of the court. And when the fourth quarter starts, they have it's not as bad as this. That's the fucking worst. Football, hold your helmets up in 4 quarters. Hey, you can count. Congratulations. Wow. Going to school really has paid off for you, hasn't it? 4. Thank you. Or like the NBA guys. I know you hit a 3. I don't need this. I don't need this, or this. And those of you know what that means. You'll know what movie I'm referring to. Look at that. Got a bunch of people killed in this movie. So 3. I know it's a 3. I get it. You got that. You got the goggles for the good passes and all this nonsense that everybody wants to do. But whatever. So the screen, to start the fourth quarter, it's like, the fourth quarter. Let's go. Okay, I'm getting back. I'm going back to the voice again. Yeah, let's get hyped. Woo! Fourth quarter, let's go. And then they have this video play, and it's like lightning and fourth quarter, and show some highlights of like Steph hitting a 3, maybe Draymond with a sweet pass, Butler scoring. Here comes Pajemski. Here comes so-and-so. All right, let's get hype. Everybody on their feet. Let's go. Fourth quarter. And then you look at the scoreboard, we're down 20. I mean, don't we have discretion as to when to play that and when not to play that? Like, if close game, okay, play it. And then I go to Houston, same stuff. Minnesota, same stuff. They must all go to league meetings and go, okay, here's what we're going to do this year. Here's what'll work. This is a gem. You guys are going to love this one. We're going to have a fourth quarter highlight package, and we're going to show you guys how to get the crowd hyped and get them going. That's the thing I did love about Oracle back in the day. You didn't need to tell them when to get hyped. They knew when to get hyped. They knew it. They knew when it's like, okay, it's time to get loud now. One time to get loud at the beginning of the fourth when you're down 20. Hit a couple threes, cut it to 14. Okay, now let's start building it. Let's start going. Let's start getting this thing rocking and rolling. But not at the beginning. And not at the beginning. So again, everybody's doing the same stuff, which drives me a little bit crazy. But back to Nelly. So, and I think I started that with Nelly playing for the Celtics, winning championships at the Forum, balloons, and then off I went. But Nelly, from experience, Nelly is a hell of a coach. The one thing I noticed about Nelly more so than anything is coaches adjusted to him. He didn't adjust to other coaches. Like, they always made the adjustment to him. And I always thought he was a brilliant tactician when it came to offensive basketball. Defensive, not so much. He was an offensive guy. He liked tinkering with the offense. He loved going small. I played center a lot, power forward mostly, but I played a lot of center. And so, it was me and, in no particular order, Chris, Timmy, Mitch, because I'd put myself way last when it came to those guys. Rod Higgins, Terry Teagle, my guy Pete, Alton Lister, Winnie Garland was there. So, I mean, it was a fun team to play for. Like that, I was so happy to get to play for that type of team that ran and moved the ball. Like a lot of the stuff you see today, we did 30 years ago back with the Warriors. But he had some really good, it was interesting because he had some really good defensive teams back in Milwaukee. Those teams were really, really good. Bridgman and Pressey and Marcus Johnson and Sidney Moncrief. Like, those are some good teams, really good. They just weren't as good as the Celtics. They just weren't good. The East was a monster back then, a monster. The Bucks were really good. The Celtics were really good. The Sixers were incredible. I mean, that was an incredible team. The team that won the championship, Moses Malone, Dr. J, Andrew Toney, Mo Cheeks, Jones. Not sure if McGinnis was on that team or not, but I mean, they had some incredible teams back in the day. So the East was like, they had some big time teams. They were kind of like what the West is now. The West wasn't super strong back then, if I remember correctly. I mean, it was always the Lakers. Suns were okay occasionally. Nuggets were okay occasionally. Rockets were coming on with their Twin Towers. But, Nelly just couldn't get over the hump of the Celtics. And then the Warriors were okay. We were a good team, not a great team. Like, a little over 500, right around there. 3 Hall of Famers. We just, we didn't have any size. You got crushed on the boards continually. But I don't think that takes away from what Nelly is. And then, when he was with the Mavericks, they had some chances there. I don't know. The one thing I'll say about Nelly is I don't think Nelly ever lost with the best team. I don't think Nelly ever had the best team and lost. Like, oh my gosh, you should have won this year, right? I don't think that happened. I'd have to go back and look. But the Warriors, we never had the best team. He had some good teams. After I left, when it was Sprewell and Weber, I think Billy Owens was there. I think Timmy and Chris were still there for a bit, but they had some really good teams, but they weren't the best team. Maybe like the 4th best team in the West, 3rd or 4th best team, but they're never the best team. And then he goes to the Mavericks. They were never the best team when he had them. So, I still think you accumulate that many wins. And I didn't mention the Knicks because that was a disaster. That was just a disaster. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. I know what he was thinking. Let me correct myself. I know what he was thinking. Cash, baby. He got that cash from New York and thought, we're going to make this work. And when you go up to Patrick Ewing and say, I need you a little more on the perimeter, and we're going to, it's like, it's Patrick Ewing. Come on. I mean, that team was just, that was not a team that I think if it were anywhere else and he didn't get paid the type of money he got paid to go to New York, he wouldn't have gone. He wouldn't have gone. That was not a good fit for him. Warriors, great fit for him. The Mavericks, great fit for him. I mean, he was the guy that traded for Dirk Nowitzki. I think it was Robert Tractor Trailer went before him, and he traded the pick to go and get Dirk, who was like, 17, 18 at the time, and then turned into, well, shut it down, let's go home. You know what Dirk turned into. And then I think he saw the vision of Steve Nash, what Steve Nash could become. Who else was on that team? I think Michael Finley was on that team, is a really good player too. But that was a really good team. It just wasn't the best team. And then he comes back here to the Warriors, and I think maybe his best coaching was that We Believe team. Those Renegades, when they beat the Mavericks in the first round, 1-8, and Avery Johnson did something I don't know if I've ever seen before. The first round against an 8 seed, you change your starting lineup. It's like, would they win that game? Would they win that year? 67, if I'm not mistaken, 67 games. And then you change your lineup because you're going against the Warriors and they're smaller, and you want, like, Avery, you won 67 games. You make them adjust. And that's what I say. Like, Nelly made teams adjust to what he did. And that was as loud as I've ever heard an arena. I was at a few of those games, and it wasn't working those games. This was before I started working for the Warriors. But went to the games. Oh my gosh. It was concert loud, like Metallica concert loud. It was so loud in there. Like Chase will never duplicate that. I don't know if Oracle would have ever duplicated that after the fact. I don't think they would have. Because remember, that was after years and years and years of hardly even having a all-star, let alone get to the playoffs and win. And that was a fun team to watch. Jason Richardson, Barron. Who could forget the dunk on Karolinko? That you want to talk about loud. That was loud. It's Stack Jack, Harrington. It was just that was a fun team to watch. It would have been nice to see that team stay together for a couple years. I don't know exactly if they could have done anything, but that was a Nelly team. Right? I think Steph might have been his rookie year, or maybe his second year, but he was so young. But it was, Monte might have even still been on that team. It was. So that's a Nelly team. Give me the island of misfit toys. And I will find a way to Dr. Frankenstein this thing. And we're going to be a fun team to watch and a good team to watch. Were they going to be championship worthy? Maybe not. But, again, you can't say the Warriors, We Believe Warriors were the best team. They weren't. They were the 8 seed, snuck in, got in there, and then beat the Mavericks, which was funny because the Mavericks lost, sat a lot of their guys at the end of the year, and the Warriors ended up winning, making it. And I don't know if they thought they had a better chance to beat the Warriors, and then the Warriors beat them. Oopsie. So it was really cool to see Nelly get the Lifetime Achievement Award, because I think he's done a lot in the game of basketball. I think there's a lot of coaches that implement a lot of the stuff that he did back in the day. I mean, you watch the Pacers run, and that's what we did. Throw it ahead. Get the ball, try to throw it ahead if you can. Timmy sometimes would get it and go, and that's fine. But we would also, get a rebound. If you could handle, go. And if somebody's open ahead of you, throw it ahead of you. Get into your offense early. You watch the Pacers, they get into their offense really, really early. And we didn't even run sets until we got through running and then running our early offense. And then we'd get into a set. get into a horn set or a thumb set or whatever it is we're running. But look, having played for Nelly, I always knew he knew what the hell he was doing. And when he said something, you trusted him. Like, okay, if he says this is going to happen and this is going to happen. Another thing Nelly would do was he would ask players, like, how do you want to play this? How do you want to play this pick and roll? Do you want to blitz it? Do you want to hedge it? Do you want to go under? You don't see as many going under screens anymore, but back in the day, not many people shot threes, so you could go under screens. And we had different ways of playing different personnel. So, and he'd ask you, how do you want to play this screen roll? He even asked me one time, we were playing, I've told this story before, we were playing the Spurs, and he asked, did anybody have any ideas on how to play David Robinson? And I raised my hand, and he goes, what do you got? And I go, well, I mean, obviously you got to be physical with him. You got to bump him off the block and move him out and then try to get him out to 14, 15. Then you got, at least a little bit of a chance. And then crowd him once he gets the ball. Because, he could hit that 15-foot jump shot. And if he got one dribble, he could get by it because he's so long. I mean, David Robinson was long and super athletic. People forget how good that guy was. David Robinson was incredible. He just wasn't, he gets kind of lost in the shuffle of playing with Duncan. And then you had Akeem, and you had Ewing, and you had Shaq, and all those guys. And David Robinson gets lost a little bit, but he shouldn't. Incredible player. So I said, no, get physical, get into him, get into his body, and make him uncomfortable. And Nelly looked at me and goes, all right, you go ahead, you start on him then. You start on Robinson. I'm like, all right, cool. First 6 minutes, he had 14 points. I mean, I didn't say it would work. I just said, in theory, this is how I think you could have the best success against David Robinson. I didn't even say I was the best guy to implement, like I was the best tool for the task. I just said this is what I think would work. So, you hear the infamous 6 minute mark, and I'm walking off the court after David Robinson's lit me up for 14 points. And Nelly looks at me and he goes, it's the last fucking time I'll ask you. And I just looked at him and I said, I didn't say it would work. He kind of laughed a little bit, and I just kept walking by. But he did give you that freedom to, say, hey, this is how I'd like to play this guy. Now, he wouldn't always take your advice. Like if he felt convicted about something, like this is the way to do it, then that's what you would do. You trusted him. But as a player, I always felt like if you let the players not come up with their own game plans, but be a part of them, they're more invested in it. Like you don't want to go out there. Like I didn't want to say that and then go out there and get lit up, right? Like, okay, you start. Like I was invested in that. I was trying to be physical. I was trying to get up in him and take away airspace. I was trying to do those things. It just so happened the talent end of the scale, I was down here, he was up here. So my theory may have been good, but it wasn't enough to bridge the talent gap, which was like, pretty wide. I mean, we could be talking Japan, California, Pacific Ocean type wide. Like David Robinson was incredible, an absolute stud. So again, maybe a different tool. Maybe it works. Maybe that sort of defense works. It did not work with me. And it could have worked on a different night too. It's just that night he got rolling and I couldn't stop him. And he was great. But I love playing for Nelly. Not the easiest guy to play for. Like he could be brutally honest sometimes. And you didn't want to hear it, but you were glad that you heard it. He tried to give me my contract back. Awfully nice of him. He did after my second year, and it was my fault. I didn't work out as hard as I should have in the summer. Came in out of shape a little bit, and he was not happy with me. And, I spent the rest of camp and the early part of the season trying to get in shape and get back and get going. Maybe that was the third season. And he was not happy. So he sat me down after practice one day, and he said, look, Tom, I'm going to do – getting hot in here. He goes, I'm going to do you a favor. And I go, what's that? He goes, I'm going to release you from your contract. And that way you can be a free agent. Like, hey, this is good for you. You should take advantage of this. I'm going to release you from your contract. You can go be a free agent. And, obviously we won't owe you any more money after that. And we can just do, what we're going to do. And you can do what you're going to do. And I think it'd be good for you. Thanks, Nelly. Appreciate the offer. I'm going to have to pass on that. I'm going to have to pass since they got 3 more years of guaranteed money. And I'm not going to give it back to you. Sorry, not going to happen. So that was pretty much the end of this guy's going back to college with these fucking stories. I'll tell you that in a minute. So I told him no, and then life just went on, and that was pretty much the end of it. And we have a really good relationship now, but as a coach, you're trying to win, and if somebody isn't helping you win, then you're not really thrilled with him. And look, I don't blame him. I gave him every reason to be upset with me because I didn't do everything I could have during the off season to get myself ready for the season. So he brought Jim Peterson up to his office one time because Jim wasn't playing that well. He actually sat Jim on a bench and said, "Is that all you got? I thought you had more than that when I traded for you." Now imagine that as a player. Your head coach asked you, "Is that all you got?" What? What? I mean, how about you show a little more confidence in me and play me a little bit more and put me in different positions? But like again, he wanted smaller guys on the court that could do certain things, and that just wasn't. Jim wasn't super comfortable in those. So anyway, Jim's like, well, he goes, well, maybe we could work out a trade for you and find you a team that you'd want to go to. Because I think at some point Jim was a little disillusioned. Like, I think he loved the players. Jim and I hung out all the time. We were best friends. And then he just loved the team. The team was a lot of fun. It really was. So he told Jim, he goes, okay, well, we could try to work out a trade. Why don't you come up to my office with me? So Jim goes up to Nelly's office with him because remember, Nelly was the coach and the GM at the time. So Jim comes up to Nelly's office with him, and Nelly sits down. Jim sits across from him, and Nelly's behind the desk and the phone and the pen and the paper and whatever else he has there. Probably a beer, knowing Nelly. So he calls Bernie Bickerstaff. I think Bernie Bickerstaff was worked for the Nuggets at the time. And he's talking to him, and you hear him say, I know you didn't hear him say, Jim's sitting right across from him. Of course he heard him. And he said, hey, Bernie, how you doing? Nelly, what's going on? Doing good? Yeah. He goes, hey, I got Jim Peterson here. You got any interest in trading for Jim Peterson? No? For nothing? Okay, thanks. Appreciate it. Click. And then I forget who called up next, but Jim told me he called two GMs. Called another guy up. Hey, I got Jim Peterson here. You got any interest in maybe trading for Jim Peterson? No? Okay. Hangs up. Looks at Pete and says, nobody fucking wants you. Now, how's that? How's that? Like, how are you expecting to get the most out of that player moving forward? You just sat him in your office across from you. I mean, just embarrassed him basically. Nah, nobody wants you. Like, I tried. I don't know what you want me to do. Nobody wants you. So he could be a dick. There's no doubt about it. I mean, a real, as Nelly would call it, a real prick. But I still love playing for him. I mean, he was that way with me sometimes too, but I love the freedom he gave you. I love the fact during practices we scrimmaged a lot. I went from scrimmaging every single day in practice to going to Orlando, where it was a controlled scrimmage every single practice. So controlled scrimmage is you played at 10, right? You got 2 teams, you played at 10. And then coach stops it occasionally if things aren't going the way he wanted it to go. So Nelly would stop it occasionally, go, hey, we want to do this, swing it. We want to pin down here. We want to do this. Okay, cool. We go to Orlando with Matty Gukas, and the controlled scrimmage is, okay, we're going to run thumbs down here or horns or whatever it is. So let's run horns. So I'd run horns, team on defense, get a rebound or take it out of bounds, and then run the other way. And then stop. So it's half court, rebound, go, stop. Let's call another play. And then you do it over again. It's like, what are we doing? Like, can we just scrimmage? Can we just play? And that was the thing I loved about Nelly is we just played. We just played. And it wasn't stop. It wasn't, hey, let's discuss this. Let's talk about this. Like we knew what we were doing. We had a bunch of smart guys on the team. So it was fun. Nelly made it fun. Again, he could be a dick sometimes, no doubt about it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was always great. It wasn't always great. But I think he's one of the best coaches ever played for, him and Lute Olson. So, and I absolutely think he deserves the Lifetime Achievement Award. So good for him. Might be the last time he ever steps foot off Maui. I read that he hadn't left Maui in 7 years. I doubt he'll leave it again. I was a little disappointed the short hair. Look how he cleaned up a little bit. The Waylon Jennings look is gone, which kind of sucks. Anywho, before I go, let me get into I got the hockey game tonight. Great series. If you're not watching it, you're missing out. What are you doing? 2 overtime games. Awesome. Draisaitl wins it and in overtime in the first one, and then Marchand double overtime. I mean, it's just been really fun games. Really fun games. So we got that tonight. And then basketball tied up at 1. Look, I don't know how the Pacers keep pulling this off. They must have a titanium or platinum or whatever precious metal horseshoe lodged in their ass. I mean, they just keep winning these games they have no business winning. Like if they would have won one of them, cool. You win the one against the Bucks. Okay, wow. There's the Bucks though. Then you win the one against the Cavs. You're like, oh, the offensive foul on Donovan Mitchell was the biggest, and the offensive rebound on the missed free throw too. But I mean, they keep doing this stuff. It's like, okay. And then the one against the Knicks was absurd. I mean, Neesmith just couldn't miss at the end. And then Halliburton goes Don Nelson or Garfield Hurd, depending on which way you want to go. Back irons it, pops up about 10, 12 feet, and then pow. It's like there's no way that just happened. And then they're down 8 or 9 with under 3 minutes to go against the Thunder. And they come back and win in that game. So it's just, I don't know. You feel like the horseshoe's going to get dislodged at some point. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a magic carpet ride and they're going to figure out a way to win this thing. But I still like OKC in this. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been amazing. Holmgren was really good. Again, they didn't get as many steals they got first game. But I thought they did a little better job of converting those steals. But they shot the ball better. Like when OKC shoots the ball, they're unbeatable. Wiggins comes in, striping shots. Caruso comes in, striping shots. Like they actually shot the ball better from 3 than they did in the first game. I think they both had 14 threes, but Indiana shot a few more, so the percentage wasn't quite as good. Indiana was 14 for 40. Yeah, and Pacers Thunder 14 for 36. They shot almost 40%. But I think Wiggins had 5. Let's see. Williams didn't shoot it that well. Dort was okay. Holmgren okay. Shea 1 for 4. But then Caruso's 4 for 8. Wiggins 5 for 8. So there you go. There's 9 for 16 right there. They shoot, they win. They shoot, they win. Period. That's just the way it is. Because their defense is absolutely dominant. Halliburton got going a little bit at the end, but I think Halliburton to me is like Jokic. You want him being aggressive. You would rather have him shoot the ball. You don't want him passing, getting everybody else involved, everybody else feeling good, Halliburton doing his thing. And that's the thing about Jokic. He had some games this year where he had to shoot the ball a lot, but he would rather not. He'd rather pass it, get everybody else involved. And I think that's what Halliburton wants to do too. He wants to get everybody else involved. So the more you can get him to be aggressive, I think that's a win for Oklahoma City. And I still think Oklahoma City is going to win this, but I mean, Rick Carlisle's a really good coach, and that's a good basketball team over there. And they got guys shooting the ball, a few of them shooting it better than they have during the regular season. Nembhard is way up. Like he was 29% regular season. He's about 47 now. Neesmith shot it at 43% during the regular season, but he's at 50 now. I think McConnell went from like 30 to 40. Like they have like three guys that are like shooting it way above what they shot it during the regular season. So I don't know. Game 3, not a must win. I hate when people say that. Oh, this is a must win. Oh, is the series over after this game? If somebody wins? No. Well, then it's not a must win. There's only one must win, and that is if you are eliminated, if you lose. That's a must win game. Everything else is just people trying to overstate something or come in with a strong take, brother. Oh, they got to win. It's a must win. No, it's not a must win. Shut up. Fucking give me a headache. It's not. But I feel like it's really important now for the Pacers. Thunder get this one. They know they're going to go back home at least 2-2. And who knows, could be 3-1 and this thing could be over in 5. But I expect it to go 6. Just because the Pacers, again, they're on the magic carpet ride. They're a good team anyway. They're a fun team to watch. I do enjoy watching them play. And I don't really have a favorite in this series. I don't really care who wins. I'm just glad they're playing each other because it's been fun basketball to watch. The guy wanted the story real quick. That was when I was at UC Irvine. I was at UC Irvine, and we went out one night and had a few beers, and then came home, and there was a pool. It was like, it wasn't a great hotel. It wasn't a bad hotel. It was just, one of those outdoor pools and outdoor rooms and stuff. And the rooms weren't outdoors, were they? No, they weren't. But and I thought it'd be fun to stack up 8 chairs, or maybe there's 5 chairs, and jump over them into the pool. Well, as I ran and jumped over the chairs, my foot slipped and I just crushed the chairs, all of them, into the water. I went into the water, hit my nose on that one of the handles of the chair. Nose is bleeding, so there's like blood in the pool. It was like one of those crime scenes where like blood in the pool. There's chairs everywhere. I'm just laying in the pool like, God dang, that sucked. That was brutal. So nose all busted up, and you got to swim around and get the chairs and get them out of the pool because I don't want to leave all the chairs in the pool. I wasn't that hammered, but so I get all the chairs out of the pool, and that was a trip. I can't remember who did it, but somebody snuck into somebody else's room and poured water on their bed, like a big bucket of water on the bed. So the bed was just, completely soaked. Couldn't even sleep in it. Turned it over. Didn't work. So I had to sleep in the box spring. So he came in, and he was my roommate too, the guy that did this. So all of a sudden I hear bang, bam. And the second bam, somebody broke down the door, just kicked it in, and came in with a massive bucket of water and just dumped it on his bed and left. I was like, what are we going to do with this door? You just busted the door. Apparently he didn't care. Yeah, those were the old UC Irvine Zot days. All right, before I get out of here, I did go to the dump. I was going to tell you, there's only one question I have when I go to the dump. And by the way, is the dump like the Ritz-Carlton to seagulls? Like if you're a seagull, like is it like the Olympic Club? Like you get on a wait list to get some sort of lodging at the dump? Because it seems like they're just loving life. Like they can't smell what we smell when we go to the dump. And they're just circling around and there's garbage and there's food. And it's like, oh man, you kidding me? This is heaven. And it's got to be waitlisted. Like if you're a seagull, there's got to be a wait. Like you can't just like bomb in there. Like I'm going to go there because everybody wants to go there. Everyone wants to go to the dump, get their food. And I'm thinking the other seagulls are like, fuck off. Yeah, I was 5 years on this wait list. This is my spot now. Get out of here. Beat it, pal. It's like, by the way, there's an ocean behind you. Maybe go that route. Maybe go the ocean. You get some water, get some fresh fish, and you're all good. But now everybody wants to go to the dump because it's easy. See, it's not just easy. Humans aren't the only ones that think, oh, they're going to do the easy thing. Everybody does the easy thing. You think if you take a dead gazelle and set it down in front of a lion, the lion would go, nah, I'm going to hunt. I got to burn a few calories. Get my Fitbit on, get some steps in, go out there for the hunt. Nah, give it to the hyenas. That lion's going to take that gazelle. It's like, why would I put myself through that aggravation? Go out there and chase a gazelle that I can't catch. No, like trying to catch Tyreek Hill in the open field. Like ding, ding, bang, bang, jumping around. Like, oh, son of a. Oh, I should have took the dead gazelle. That gazelle be perfect. So I'm guessing the seagull's like, this is just easy. It's just easy. So I'll just go. But I mean, it probably looked like, it's like the London skies in 1942 or 1941. It's like, Jesus. I mean, like, what is going on here? Like, look at these seagulls. But though, so we know the smell. I mean, it was easy. I went in there and just dumped all my stuff. And although I love when they're watching you, making sure you're not dumping what you're not supposed to be dumping. It's like, you know how easy it would be to hide something in one of the things I dumped? Like, I don't want to. I don't care to because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I feel like I'm doing them a favor in bringing garbage to them. Like, they don't actually have to come get my garbage. I'm bringing my garbage. I'm bringing you the garbage. I'm bringing it to you. I'm going to take time out of my day, put it in the back of the truck, and bring it to you. And I got to pay for it? $70. Got to pay for it. Why? Vegas, twice a week. Twice a month, they can put whatever they want out there. Whatever. You can put a fridge out there. Presumably with a dead body back in the day. Back in the 60s. But not here. Now, I know you're doing us a favor by bringing garbage here, but we're going to charge you 70 big ones, $70 to dump garbage. All right. It is what it is. I had to clean out the backyard a little bit. But that just, I never could quite figure that out. I'm doing you a favor. Doing you a favor. Here. No, don't come get it. I'm gonna bring it to you. I'm gonna bring you the garbage. I'm gonna do your job for you, and now I'm gonna pay you. I don't get it, but always a fun trip to the dump. All right, we'll be back on Wednesday. I want to get into the NIL today, and we're gonna have hopefully John Wilner on it a couple weeks or so. But NIL's gone mad, just absolutely mad. I'm not sure where it's gonna end, but I did want to get into that today. But I'll get into that next show. So we'll have a show Wednesday, we'll have a show Friday. I'm not sure if we'll have any guests or not. We may do a show where we do all comments and just stories. And whatever you want to ask, we can get into that as well. We can do that. So everybody have a great day. Enjoy your Monday. And this show felt kind of weird just because I didn't know where the hell I was going. And I ended up in places I was just like, woo, here we go. All right. What are we doing over here? Oh, what's he doing over there? He's not over there anymore. He's right over here. Which I'm going to try to get into. I'm trying to get into the NIL on Wednesday. So everybody have a great Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Again, if you're not into the hockey, try to get into the hockey. Hockey's tonight. Hockey's a great sport, especially Stanley Cup. hockey, and then we got more basketball coming up later this week. I did want to say about the Giants. Ever since Buster Posey said it's go time, they're averaging 4.1 runs a game now. Take that for what it's worth. I mean, the Giants managed to just get like timely hits, but their pitching has been awesome. Birdsong has been really good. Webb's been really good. Ray's been a stud. I mean, their pitching has been fantastic. So we'll get into that too. We'll start talking a little more Giants, a little more baseball as we get into the season. So again, everybody have a great day. Thanks for joining. Like, subscribe if you would like. If you don't, it's no pressure. I'm a no pressure environment here. You do what you want to do. I'm just here having a good time a few times a week. You do what you want to do. If you'd like to like it, like it. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. If you don't, you just want to come and go, peace. That's cool with me. See you guys.